On the broadcast from Washington tonight, sending a message what the president has to say to the nation this evening, gripped in an economic crisis in just the second month of his presidency. Trust Factor, a big bank that took money from the taxpayers in hot water for what they chose to spend money on. Reversal of fortune. If this place is hurting, then you know the financial downturn has gone global. Tonight we'll visit a place where spending was once a way of life. And airing grievances. A new side of Captain Sully was on display today. Now he's saying airline cost-cutting is having an impact on safety. Also tonight, why Sarah Palin and Tiger Woods are both in the news. Nightly News begins now.
This is NBC Nightly News with Brian Williams, reporting tonight from Washington.
Good evening. Behind us here on Capitol Hill tonight, the president will address a joint session of Congress at a crucial time early on in his presidency and at a crucial time for this nation mired in a deep economic downturn. The lawmakers sitting before him in the audience tonight, after all, were just asked to ram through the biggest single piece of spending in U.S. history, and we don't yet know what effect it'll have. Consumer confidence is at an all-time low, and anger at this economy is at a modern-day high. The head of the Federal Reserve was on Capitol Hill today, and to the north in New York, Wall Street had a rare up day. The Dow was up over 236 points. So, with that as the backdrop, a preview tonight from NBC News White House correspondent Savannah Guthrie. Savannah, good evening.
Brian, the president spent the day practicing this speech, making some last-minute edits. It's a speech that will mostly be about the economy. He'll sound some hopeful notes, but there will certainly be a lot of talk about the serious situation we're in.
This
was the only public sighting of the president today, an Oval Office visit by Japan's prime minister.
All right, thank you guys.
The president spent much of the day putting the final touches on the first major speech he'll give since his inauguration. The speech is expected to trumpet early accomplishments like the economic recovery plan the president signed last week, give a sober assessment of where the economy is now, and lay out broad goals for solving the economic crisis, hitting themes that will sound familiar.
In modernizing our costly healthcare system, we're making the largest investment in education in our nation's history. How we produce and use energy is fundamental to our economic recovery.
Advisors say the president will not lay out specific policy proposals, but frame the economic crisis as an opportunity to take action in areas long neglected.
This is a situation that calls for action. The president tonight needs to be specific and clear about how at least he's going to begin to handle this horrific financial problem.
We welcome the chairman of the Federal Reserve.
On Capitol Hill today, Fed Chairman Ben Bernanke told a congressional committee the end of the recession may be in sight if the programs designed to get the financial system operating again start to work.
There's a reasonable prospect that the current recession will end in 2009 and that 2010 will be a year of recovery.
White House advisors say the president will acknowledge the anger many Americans feel toward Wall Street and Washington. But according to excerpts released tonight, Mr. Obama will strike a hopeful note, saying, "Tonight I want every American to know this. We will rebuild, we will recover, and the United States of America will emerge stronger than before." It won't all be economy. The president is expected to touch on foreign policy, a way out of Iraq, a way forward in Afghanistan. In fact, Brian, the president is set to give a major speech about Iraq on Friday.
All right, Savannah Guthrie starting us off at the White House tonight. Savannah, thanks. And about this nation's dual ongoing wars. We learned today of the deaths of 4 American soldiers in Afghanistan in what was the worst single attack so far this year, and another American soldier was killed in Iraq. This afternoon, I spoke with David Axelrod, senior advisor to President Obama. We talked about the president's plans for this speech tonight and some news on how the president plans to handle Iraq. It had just come out when we sat down for this interview. First of all, Associated Press, just over the past hour, administration officials say Barack Obama is planning to announce that most U.S. troops will be out of Iraq in less than 19 months, leaving behind a force of between 30,000 and 50,000, largely to advise and train Iraqi security forces. Can you confirm or deny?
Well, I can evade. I don't want to, in the sense that I think the president will make his own announcement very shortly on this subject, but it should surprise no one that he is considering how to remove our troops from Iraq. It's something that he talked about for years as a candidate, and it's a commitment that he intends to keep.
How much optimism will we hear from the president tonight?
Look, the president is optimistic. He believes deeply in the fundamental strengths of this country, but he's also going to speak to the situation we're in now. He trusts the American people with the truth, and what he's going to do is share his sense of where we are and what we need to do to get out of the morass we're in and to get to a better day. And he firmly believes there will be a better day, but we have to have the discipline and the strength to do what needs to be done.
Will the president note the anger of members of the public?
Well, I think that you can't, I mean, it's not just members of the public who are angry. The president shares their anger. There's been an awful lot of irresponsibility on the part of many that has contributed to the situation we're in. And people are demanding a sense of accounting for that and a new sense of responsibility going forward. So, of course, he'll speak to that. But ultimately, we can't wallow in our frustrations. We have to act, and he'll talk about where we need to go from here.
Part of our conversation today with senior White House advisor David Axelrod. Of course, we'll have live coverage tonight of the president's address. That begins at 9 Eastern Time, 6 on the West Coast. On the topic of this nation's economy, all this week, as you may know, Nightly News is joining forces with our friends at our financial news network, CNBC, to get a sense of this economic meltdown. Carl Quintanilla reports tonight on what needs to happen after the president's speech tonight.
It's the political equivalent of show me the money. Having pushed through programs to save jobs, rescue banks, and stem foreclosures, the president must now seize on any evidence those plans are taking hold. On jobs, that could mean a slowdown in the number of Americans filing for unemployment. It's been relentless, over 600,000 last week. Already, White House economists are making some cautious promises.
I think we're going to see some job creation out of this plan very soon, within, months, maybe even weeks.
Saving the banks is a much taller order, but the president could help by explaining how the government will remove toxic assets from banks and hopefully sell them. Without that, banks remain nervous, hoarding cash and keeping mortgage rates stubbornly high.
The banks can find some stability, they can bring down their lending rates, and people can refinance and lower their interest payments.
That's exactly what the president's housing plan hopes to do. Stabilize prices, which new data today said fell 18.5% from last year in 20 cities across America. Home prices are now down 27% from their peak 3 years ago.
We know behind the numbers that there are real families struggling out there, and that's exactly what we're trying to do, is make sure we're doing everything we need to do to help those families and in turn help the American economy recover.
Until there's solid evidence the economy is on the mend, critics say Mr. Obama may have to rely more on his tone, with less of an alarmist message.
This is an unprecedented crisis.
And more reassurance to help boost consumer confidence that today hit its lowest level since 1967.
It's all about hope and restoring confidence and shoring up the shattered collective psyche, because without restoration of confidence, the economy is not going to regain its footing.
Since Election Day, the Dow's fallen more than 2,000 points. Markets been unimpressed with all those rescue packages, which is why, Brian, after tonight, the emphasis may shift proving those programs are working little by little rather than promising that they will work someday.
Carl Quintanilla from CNBC with us here in Washington tonight. Carl, thanks as always. With all this talk about the big banks that may not make it without help, one particular bank is in trouble tonight for what it chooses to do with its money. The bank has accepted taxpayer bailout money, and now it's under fire from some in Congress for throwing a huge party complete with luxury hotels, lavish dinners, even rock stars. NBC's Lisa Myers has our report.
This time it was Northern Trust Bank, headquartered in chilly Chicago, which has taken $1.6 billion in bailout money. The bank flew hundreds of clients and executives to balmy Southern California last week, and as first reported by the entertainment website TMZ, put them up for 4 days in the ritziest hotels in Los Angeles. Northern Trust hosted luxurious cocktail parties and elegant dinners with Tiffany gift bags. And big-name entertainment, including the band Chicago, paid around $100,000 for the evening. Members of Congress, angered before by an AIG event at a California resort and a Las Vegas conference sponsored by Wells Fargo and Morgan Stanley, were outraged.
I scratch my head and I wonder what planet do these guys come from. I mean, do they have no respect and no sense of what's right with respect to the American taxpayer? It's absolutely stunning.
Northern Trust parties were associated with a professional golf tournament sponsored by the bank, the Northern Trust Open. Northern Trust says it's a healthy bank that actually made money last year and that these are legitimate marketing activities. The bank also argues that it didn't seek bailout money but was asked to take it by the government. That did not fly with congressional leaders.
So I have written to them and asked them to return to the Treasury at least as much as they spent on this whole affair.
Key Democrats also are now proposing that any company that receives bailout money be banned from throwing these kinds of extravaganzas until taxpayers have been repaid in full. Lisa Myers, NBC News, Washington.
Sarah Palin has agreed to give back some money. Word came late today. The Alaska governor and former McCain running mate has signed a deal agreeing to reimburse the state of Alaska for 9 trips taken by her children using state-provided transportation. Among them, a flight her daughter took last year to attend a snowmobile race. The 9 trips are among 40 that were investigated following an ethics complaint filed against Palin last October. Today's agreement settles that complaint. A NASA satellite that was meant to orbit the Earth and monitor greenhouse gases in the atmosphere came crashing down to Earth instead minutes after it was launched early this morning from Vandenberg Air Force Base out in California. It landed in the ocean near Antarctica. NASA says the module that held the satellite failed to separate from the Taurus rocket. When Nightly News continues in just a moment from Washington. From wild economic boom time to bust at warp speed in a place known for its lavish living. And later, a different side of the hero pilot. What Sully told Congress today about what's happening in his line of work.
I, Sam Bailey.
Clara.
Dennis, do hereby pledge to chase the wind, whichever way it blows.
And forgive pollen when it gets carried away. I promise to grant dust a reprieve.
And I will find the strength in Zyrtec to relieve my worst allergy symptoms, indoors and outdoors.
I solemnly swear to catch the breeze, no matter which trees are blooming, because with Zyrtec,
I can love the air.
Try Zyrtec 5 or 14 count. If you don't love it, we'll refund your money.
Anxious about quitting cold turkey? Make that first step easier with the Nicoderm CQ patch. Nicoderm steps you down from nicotine gradually, doubling your chance for success. Nicoderm CQ, 3 steps, 10 weeks, and you're free.
Impressive resume. I see you're flatulent in 3 languages, graduated top of your gas.
Got gas on your mind?
Your son Rip is on line toot.
Try Gas X. Powerful relief from pressure and bloating in a fast-dissolving strip. Gas X. Pressure's off.
Swiffer Wet Jet cleans so completely, you'll never go back to your old mop again. Why go part of the way clean? Swiffer Wet Jet antibacterial cleaner kills 99.9% of bacteria mops can spread around. Swiffer cleans better or your money back, guaranteed.
I'm going to do another one of my sleep studies. Advil PM or Tylenol PM. Here we go. Middle of the night. Awake again? Asleep. With Advil PM, she's spending less time lying awake with aches and pains and more time asleep. Advil PM. The difference is a better night's sleep. Look for savings now on Advil PM at participating stores. And on March 8th, look for a special coupon in select newspapers.
It was once known as the place where money flowed through the streets. So if they're hurting in Dubai, then it must be some sort of proof that this downturn has gone global. There are indications tonight in the wealthy Persian Gulf state that the era of fabulous opulence may be coming to an end. Our report from NBC's Martin Fletcher in Dubai.
The message at the Dubai Shopping Festival is spend, spend, spend. A month of bargains, discounts and deals. But the timing couldn't be worse.
It is hurting. It is hurting.
The day the shopping festival ended,
In the city of the future, Dubai.
the annual real estate fair began. Its message, buy, buy, buy. But it's hurting too. Where are the customers?
It's probably down 60%, 70%.
The world's economic downturn has hit even Dubai, the poster child of excess, which built the world's tallest building, palm-shaped islands reclaimed from the sea, Arabia's only indoor ski slope. But even Dubai is now in trouble, although some developers here insist their projects are doing just fine. Most of these homes along here have been sold and they should be built by 2011. Then there's this island here of hotels and luxury vacation villas. That's the plan. This is the place and this is the reality. They're waiting for hotels to commit and people to buy. But where are they? With the price of oil down 65% and reducing their neighbors' cash, a collapse in foreign investment and no more cheap credit, with cranes falling idle and massive projects on hold, the question is, has Dubai's bubble burst?
We've had this enormous New York on steroids in Dubai, and as a consequence, the hurt is going to be a lot greater.
1,500 people reportedly losing their jobs a day. His company relocated Rashid Al-Banna and his family from Houston to Dubai 8 months ago. Things looked good, but then...
From feast to famine, the property bubble basically burst, essentially.
So you go back to America?
Yeah, but we have nothing to go back to. We don't have a home. That's the problem.
Touched architectural.
Back at the real estate fair, nobody will admit how bad things are.
It's become a bit slow.
They're doing their best to keep their game face on. Martin Fletcher, NBC News, Dubai.
And starting today, this nation has something it never had before, a coin in circulation that prominently features an African American. He is jazz legend Duke Ellington, one of the true giants of American music, of course. He appears on a new quarter honoring the District of Columbia. Washington, D.C. was the Duke's hometown. When we continue from Washington in just a moment, one of golf's greatest ever, ready for his comeback.
When my wife started forgetting things, the doctor said it could be Alzheimer's. I didn't want to believe it. But that night at the bowling alley... Where's Alice?
Oh, there she is. She seems a little confused.
That's when I knew. I couldn't wait. Our doctor told us prescription Aricept is the only treatment proven effective for all stages of Alzheimer's. Studies showed Aricept slows the progression of symptoms. It improves cognition and slows the decline of overall function.
Aricept is well tolerated, but not for everyone. People at risk for stomach ulcers or who take certain other medicines should tell their doctors because serious stomach problems such as bleeding may get worse. Some people may experience fainting. Some people may have nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, bruising, or not sleep well. Some people may have muscle cramps or loss of appetite, or may feel tired. In studies, these were usually mild and temporary. We really love this place.
Talk to your doctor about Alzheimer's treatments, including Aricept. Don't wait. Alzheimer's isn't waiting.
I was in the grocery store when I had a heart attack. My daughter was with me. I took a Bayer aspirin out of my purse and chewed it. My doctor said the Bayer aspirin saved my life. Please talk to your doctor about aspirin and your heart. I'm going to be grandma for a long time.
Kashi's putting real natural ingredients where you'd least expect them. In frozen food. Our entrees are totally natural, with real nutrition from ingredients like fire-roasted veggies, whole grains, and grilled chicken. Let us surprise you, too, with a free frozen entree at Kashi.com. Get your surprisingly natural frozen entree free at Kashi.com.
Kashi, 7 whole grains on a mission.
They tickle, they tease, and you sneeze. Maybe it's time to ask your doctor about Singulair. While many allergy medicines block histamine, Singulair blocks leukotrienes, an underlying cause of nasal allergy symptoms. And that's how Singulair works differently. 1 pill once a day. Side effects are generally mild and vary by age and may include headache, ear infection, sore throat, and upper respiratory infection. Singulair, a different way to treat allergies.
Tomorrow, 10 supermarket secrets. Simple shopping tips that will help you save money. Tomorrow on Today on NBC.
Nightly News at nightly.msnbc.com.
Among the special guests in the House chamber for President Obama's speech tonight, the crew of U.S. Airways Flight 1549, who inspired everybody with their heroism in the Hudson River when they landed there last month. On Capitol Hill today, Congress heard from the captain known simply as Sully, but his tone has changed. These days, he's talking about the hard realities facing the airline business these days. Our report from NBC's Tom Costello.
We had the opportunity to welcome
on Capitol Hill today, a welcome distraction with a bit of hero worship.
People who literally walk on water, as far as I can see.
And a rare bipartisan standing ovation for the Miracle on the Hudson crew and their air traffic controller.
Lindbergh would be proud of you.
For the first time, Controller Patrick Harton described hearing Captain Sullenberger say he would not make the runway.
We can't do it.
Okay, which runway would you like at Teterboro?
We're going to begin the Hudson.
People do not survive landings on the Hudson River, and I thought it was his own death sentence. I believed at that moment I was going to be the last person to talk to anyone on that plane alive.
This is the first time I've heard the detail of your experience, and I'm greatly touched by it.
Sullenberger and First Officer Jeff Skiles used their appearance to ask Congress for help in reforming the airline industry, detailing how they have lost most of their pensions and 40% of their pay over the past 8 years.
It is my personal experience that my decision to remain in the profession I love has come at a great financial cost to me and to my family.
Financial turmoil, bankruptcies, layoffs, and revolving door management teams have decimated our airlines and our careers.
To pull off their Hudson landing, Sully and Skiles relied on their 70-plus years of combined cockpit experience. Experience they warn is now drying up as military pilots avoid the relatively low pay of the airlines.
We may end up in the Hudson.
For his part, Controller Harton admitted he was haunted at first by Flight 1549.
Every time I saw the survivors on television, I imagined grieving widows.
But he promises he'll be back at work this week, watching the skies over LaGuardia. Tom Costello, NBC News, Washington.
Tiger Woods says his surgically repaired knee feels good. He's ready to return to the PGA Tour, which he will do tomorrow. He played a practice round today, getting ready for the Accenture Match Play Championship outside Tucson. Woods admitted he's nervous. He hasn't played since June, but he said all that downtime had a definite upside.
I didn't realize how much I love being home and being around Sam and E and now Charlie. I mean, I tell you what, that's something that's it's just so important to me. I knew family would be, and it has been, but I didn't know it would be to this degree.
Tournament begins tomorrow. NBC Sports will carry the action this weekend starting at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. When we continue here tonight, movie reviews from the President of the United States.
I know rheumatoid arthritis is painful, but I didn't know it could attack my joints.
Scientists believe that in moderate to severe RA, your immune system can cause serious damage.
But Enbrel enables me to fight progressive joint damage.
Enbrel works on your immune system to suppress inflammation, help relieve pain and fatigue, and keep joint damage from getting worse.
Enbrel gives me energy to do many of the things I love.
Because prescription Enbrel suppresses your immune system, it may lower your ability to fight infections such as the flu. So don't start it if you have one. Serious, sometimes fatal events have occurred, including viral, bacterial, and fungal infections, tuberculosis, lymphoma, and nervous system and blood disorders. Tell your doctor if you're prone to infections, have any open sores, have had hepatitis B, have been treated for heart failure, or if while on Enbrel, you experience persistent fever, bruising, bleeding, or paleness.
Ask your rheumatologist and envision your possibilities with Enbrel.
Need help navigating your way to retirement? Roll over your 401k into a Fidelity IRA. We'll guide you through the paperwork and help choose the investments that are right for you. Contact a rollover specialist today. In times like these, we'll help you find your way. Call 1-800-FIDELITY or visit fidelity.com today.
Batter's up, and so is Jones, checking the sign to the men's room.
Oh, not the first time. He's going over and over.
Now Johnson's rounding the corner, heading for the men's room.
Going urgently.
You bet. Carter steps out. He was in there a long time.
Stopping and starting. These guys should see their doctor.
Good point. Could be male urinary symptoms due to BPH and enlarged prostate.
For many guys, prescription Flomax reduces their urinary symptoms due to BPH in 1 week.
1 week?
Only your doctor can tell if you have BPH, not a more serious condition like prostate cancer.
Avoid driving or hazardous tasks for 12 hours after your first dose or increase in dose, as a sudden drop in blood pressure may occur, rarely resulting in fainting. If considering cataract surgery, tell your eye surgeon you've taken Flomax.
Common side effects are runny nose, dizziness, and decrease in semen.
Ask your doctor if Flomax is right for you.
Call 877-4-FLOMAX to see if you qualify for up to $40 off Flomax prescription.
For many men, Flomax can make a difference in 1 week.
We live in extraordinary times. Our nation's in crisis. And yet there's that uniquely American feeling of hope. This is the story of our nation. You rely on us to get it right. Every time. This is the tradition of NBC News. Back here in Washington, like President Bush before him and many presidents before that, President Obama today continued the tradition of having a handful of television journalists to the White House for lunch, always an honor. And it's one I shared today with the moderator of Meet the Press, David Gregory, who's in a place here with us tonight to cover the president's speech this evening. David, first we got movie reviews. The conversation started out light. He mentioned having seen Slumdog, first movie he saw in the White House, reminded him of his youth in Jakarta, and saw Gran Torino with Clint Eastwood last night. We now know he fell asleep on the couch in the office at least one night, working late. What did you take away when the conversation turned more substantive?
Well, a couple of things. I think how quickly he's adjusted to the job, that he feels comfortable in this role. And when you think about the substance tonight, he really feels that, A, he's got the kind of political strength to try to talk beyond Washington, to leverage all that support in the country for him and his policies. But he also recognizes that he's got to be the one to take the American people through the complexity of our economy and this financial crisis. And I think tonight he really wants to try to put it all together in a way that deals with some of the populism out in the country and some of the anger in the country and explain what's necessary to bring the economy back.
And we learned today about how surprised he is at the bubble, the confines of what they call the bubble, how extraordinary his security has to be in this day and age, that he was embarrassed, in effect, to learn that when he went to his 7-year-old's basketball game this past weekend, it meant that 200 other spectators, moms and dads, had to be searched before he arrived. That can be a tough dynamic.
It really is, because he talked so interestingly about how much he enjoys the anonymity in life that is now left him. People watching at an airport, at a game, to try to get a sense of people and situations. He can't do that anymore because everybody's looking at him all the time. The fact that he likes to take a long walk by himself to clear his head, he can't do that. People think, well, the White House is a big place, big backyard. Well, even so, you are in that bubble. And life has changed for him, for sure.
I know you'll be on hand to cover the speech tonight with us.